Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. I'm having trouble hearing on my computer, so I'm having to put it on my phone too, so you might hear back sound right here. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Chris, for coming in. It's so good to see you, bro. I don't care what you had to say because, we're going to speak up for the children. If you want to say negative about these people, go ahead. We should all be angry about these things happening, right? Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Go ahead and put this Bible verse. I always like using this. Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Hey, Jackie, good to see you. Hey, I had written you a WhatsApp. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to make sure to put trigger warning right here because this Robert Buskey Jr., 35, of Schenectady, New York, starved his 5-year-old to death. Thanks for the like over there at Facebook. I appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get to this story. Let me warn you, it's not good. This House of Horrors MMA fighter entombed young daughter starved her to death in Schenectady, New York. Give credit where credit is due. That's at AOL, Daily Voice. Thank you so much. Here, the guy is right here. Don't look like he's starved, does it? He wasn't starving. Dated Friday, January 23rd, 2026. Robert Buskey, was charged with manslaughter in the starvation death of his 5-year-old daughter at a Schenectady home in Elmer Avenue on Sunday, April 14th. Let me tell you, it's going to get a lot worse. It's not just this, okay? There's a lot more to the story. It is shocking, all right? A New York mixed martial arts fighter admitted he locked his 5-year-old daughter inside her bedroom to starve to death in what prosecutors described as a house of horrors. Robert Buskey Jr., 35, of Schenectady, pled guilty to second-degree murder and related charges in Schenectady County Court Friday, January 23rd, in the death of his daughter Charlotte. Man, if you did not want her, if you did not want to feed her, there are plenty other adults out there who would have loved to have her and her 3-year-old brother. A lot of people cannot have kids, and then we got people like you that's doing this on purpose. In court, Buskey admitted that he acted with depraved indifference to human life, recklessly engaging in conduct that created a grave risk of death to his daughter and ultimately caused her death. The case dates back to April 2024 when first responders were called to Buskey's Elmer Avenue home for an unresponsive child. Police said Charlotte was pronounced dead shortly after emergency crews arrived. When first responders entered the home, they encountered a house of horrors, according to the Schenectady County District Attorney's Office. The condition of the house was deplorable. Prosecutors said describing a dining room that contained a makeshift cage where Buskey's 3-year-old son was kept. You hear that? He was kept in a cage, the 3-year-old brother. While in the bedroom lay the emaciated body of his 5-year-old daughter. Investigators later learned that Charlotte had been neglected and malnourished for months. Prosecutors said she and her brother had been cut off entirely from the outside world. No family contact, no medical appointments, and no school. Charlotte, whom he had entombed in her bedroom until she died of dehydration and starvation, said Schenectady County District Attorney Robert Carney. The world shrunk to the confines of Mr. Buskey's deplorable home, Carney said, adding that Charlotte's world ultimately narrowed even further to a single locked bedroom. And yet, when he goes to jail, guess what? He's going to be fed. Do y'all think that's right? I don't think it's right for him to have the privilege of eating. Do y'all? Buskey installed a lock on the outside of Charlotte's bedroom door and reinforced it with tape after discovering she could escape by jiggling the handle inside the room. Charlotte did not have a bed. Instead, she was confined to a pack and play so small that she was forced to lie in a fetal position, investigators said. That's where Charlotte spent her final days, abandoned and locked in a room by her father. She had no food, no water, no contact with anyone, and a pack and play left there to die, Carney said. Don't forget he also had a girlfriend. The daddy had a girlfriend. Investigators noted that the house was stocked with food, including boxes of food, right outside the girl's locked bedroom. See, there was no excuse for not feeding her. They had a lot of food around, right? By the time Charlotte was found, prosecutors said Charlotte was so severely dehydrated that her eyes were sunken into her skull and her body was completely emaciated. An autopsy revealed her body was entirely devoid of food. Buskey, who previously competed as a super heavyweight MMA fighter in the capital region, also pled guilty to criminal sale of a controlled substance to a child after both of his children tested positive to cocaine. He admitted to giving the drug to his 3-year-old son. It said pled guilty to criminal sale of a controlled substance to a child? You mean the children were forced to pay him for that drug after he gave? Well, this don't make sense, right? Wow. He's expected to be sentenced to 25 years to life in prison on the murder conviction, plus an additional 2 years on the drug charge. I say the death penalty, y'all. I mean, no, we don't even need 25 years of life. It resulted in a death and all that. No, he needs a death penalty. Buskey has fought in several MMA competitions in the Albany, New York area, according to his topology profile. His last fight was in February 2019. The resolution in this case rightfully gives this defendant the maximum punishment allowed by law for the murder of his daughter. The maximum should be the death penalty. What's up, y'all? Said Christina Tremonte Pelham, chief of the Schenectady County District Attorney's Office Homicide Bureau. And it spares the members of the Schenectady Police Department, the Schenectady Fire Department, and the DEA's office from having to relive the horror of what they saw in that home and the condition of this little girl who suffered such a horrific death at the hands of her father. Wow. See if anybody said anything. Let's go back to StreamYard. No one said anything yet. Hello, everybody in Facebook land. I'm not sure, well, if anybody said hi, but it's not showing on my end. I'm sorry. So now the ex-girlfriend of man accused of starving daughter also faces charges. So let's go to that one, right? I'm sorry, I really get angry at these things, okay? Yeah, but she basically got a slap on the wrist. Y'all find out in a few minutes, okay? This is the home.
Moving forward, the former girlfriend of the Schenectady man accused of starving his young daughter to death, now facing charges in that case. Brandy Terhune was arraigned in Schenectady County Court on a felony count of tampering with physical evidence and 2 misdemeanor counts of endangering the welfare of a child. Terhune also lived at 203 Elmer Avenue, where police say Robert Buskey starved his 5-year-old daughter, Charlotte, to death. Police say Buskey's 3-year-old son also had cocaine in his system. The charges say Terhune tried to hide cocaine in the home around the time of Buskey's arrest. Terhune pleaded not guilty. She's due back in court July 10th.
Well, tonight, shoppers are out getting their last-minute supplies ahead of tomorrow's storm. Zach Richter is speaking with shoppers, along with a manager at a local hardware store in Troy, as supplies run thin.
Tonight, thousands across the capital region.
So let's go to the next one. Okay. I have to keep changing the thing from the middle of the screen. So the ex-girlfriend of Schenectady man charged a daughter starving to death pleads guilty in the case, right? The former girlfriend of the Schenectady man accused of starving his 5-year-old daughter to death has pled guilty for her role in the case. Robert Buskey is accused of depriving the girl of food and water for 5 days. For 5 days from April the 10th to April the 14th. She was found unconscious and not breathing at the home at 203 Elmer Avenue. Police said Buskey's 3-year-old son had cocaine in his system. Prosecutors said Brandy Terhune, Buskey's girlfriend at the time, tried to hide the cocaine at the home they shared. You can see a picture of the two of them kind of like cuddling. Terhune, her name is Brandy Terhune, who was initially charged with endangering the welfare of a child. But that count was dropped. Pay attention to this, y'all. This is how she's got to pay, right? But that count was dropped as part of the plea deal. She is expected to receive 5 years of probation when sentenced at a later date. That's all, just 5 years probation. Can y'all believe this? And she lived there. And she just gets 5 years probation? According to the Schenectady County Clerk's Office. Buskey is facing charges of manslaughter and endangering the welfare of a child. His case is likely headed to trial. It's on the pending calendar, but no specific date has been set. Yes, very shocking, Jackie. So let's go to the next one. Okay. Having to fix the screen again. It keeps doing that, making it too small for me to see. I'm sorry. Here's where the Schenectady dad pleads guilty. We get 27 years to life. That's commercial.
This noon, a Schenectady man has now admitted to killing his 5-year-old daughter. This morning, Robert Buskey pled guilty to murder and criminal sale of a controlled substance to a child. The Schenectady County District Attorney tells us Buskey will receive the maximum sentence of 25 years to life on the murder charge and an additional 2 years on the other charge when he's sentenced in March. The DA described Buskey's home at his time of arrest in April back in 2024 as a, quote, house of horrors. Buskey had been neglecting his young daughter, Charlotte, for months, according to the district attorney. Buskey's 3-year-old son was also being kept in a makeshift cage so Buskey could play video games, officials tell us. Buskey also gave both of his children cocaine. His ex-girlfriend, Brandy Taroon, pled guilty in last June of tampering with physical evidence and child endangerment. An order of protection will also be issued, barring Buskey from having any contact with his now 5-year-old son.
Well, tonight, shoppers are out getting their last-minute supplies ahead of tomorrow's storm.
How horrible is that, y'all? Had to shut that one off again. Sorry. This is very shocking, everyone. He played video games, right? He cared more about video games than he did his own kids. Good morning. I wonder where the mama is, right? Are y'all also wondering where the mama was? Good morning there, Carlene. I gotta take a deep breath before I go to the next thing. Okay. This is Brandy Tarhoon, the second person charged in connection to the starving death of a 5-year-old girl in Schenectady. She's been guilty of all charges, which we read over that. So let's see what's going to end up happening with all this, right? So let's go ahead and stop sharing now. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Where was the mother? Yeah, maybe you'll be able to rewind it, Carlene. Y'all see the picture of that? And can you believe, though, that all she's got to receive, Brandy Terhune, that hid the cocaine, received a plea deal, and is expected to receive 5 years probation? Why did she not try to help the kids? Why did she not go out and try to call, somebody, notify somebody, right? I mean, I would rather go to the police department and hide out somewhere away from him, just so the kids could be safe, right? Go and tell. Go and tell. But all she's going to get is 5 years probation for hiding the cocaine that they were giving the kids. What other kind of acts? Can you believe the little boy staying in a cage? So basically, her bed was a pack and play, and his bed was basically a crate, a cage. 3-year-old slept in a cage. What about the charges for what they did to the 3-year-old, right? Giving him coke. Well, the cocaine charge, that's one thing, but him sleeping in a crate, a cage? What's wrong with this picture, y'all? So, this is very horrible. And I want to thank my friend Carol Levine for bringing this case to my mind. She said it's really disturbing. So I had to look it up myself and bring it to y'all. I want more than just life sentence. Do y'all agree? I don't want him to have 27 years or a life sentence. I think he should have the death penalty. Why is that not in the equation here, right? He shouldn't be able to have any food since he wasn't letting his daughter have any food, right? Care more about video games. He actually, like I said, he put a lock outside the door and then duct taped out there where she could not get out of the room. Sick, twisted. This girl did not deserve this. He's going to go to jail and he's going to be fed food every day, That's just wrong. That is so messed up. He's still going to get food. He's still going to get medical care. They're going to tell, it's inhumane to treat him that way. But he had no regard for his daughter and his son. And I wonder where the mother is. I really do. I really pray. I bet she was terrified of him. Somebody that's a brute like that, that's a wrestler, MMA fighter. You don't deserve. And I hope and pray for that 3-year-old boy to heal, since they were giving him cocaine as well. And I can't believe they're saying that he sold cocaine to the children. How was the children able to buy cocaine from him? What about you gave them cocaine, right? Excuse me. So there's more to this story that should be extended charges as well. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Love y'all. Have God bless y'all. There's a lot of my friends that's without power, like in Louisiana area. So thoughts and prayers are with y'all. God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye.